Ron, we're going to have a little fun. We brought it back. Starting 5, my friend. All right, tonight's starting 5. A little different. NBA 3-point winners for a season. So they had to be the leader at 3 points made for the season. And I'm hoping Kenny's on because I know Kenny's going to get a little upset with my list. I already know it. But
boy, am I going to get upset at your list?
You might a little bit. We are going to start off with our honorable mentions. I am first, so I will give you my honorable mentions, and then you can give me yours, Ron.
Yeah.
I went honorable mention, Pedro Stojakovic. And if you look at 17 points per game, 3 All-Stars, 1 All-NBA, and 1-time champion. This one surprised me. I liked his numbers. Antoine Walker, 17.5 points per game, 7.7 rebounds, Ron. 3.5 assists, 3 All-Stars, 1 championship. Gilbert Arenas averaged 20.7 points, 5.3 assists, a 3-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA. There was a point in time when Gilbert Arenas was just nasty.
I got a feeling my list does not match up to yours, and it may be where we got our information because I didn't see those guys at all on my list.
Oh, yeah, they were on there. Oh, boy.
Just saying.
Klay Thompson. I put Klay Thompson as an honorable mention. 19.6 points, 5 All-Stars, 2 All-NBAs, 1 All-Defensive, and 4 championships, but did not make my list. Lou Dampier. He was like one of the second guys to ever win most three-pointers made in a season. But back in the old ABA days as well. 19.6 points. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 15.9 points, 4.9 assists, 7-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, 1-time ABA champ. And this one hurt, but I had to keep him on. I know Kenny's going to be mad at me. Reggie Miller did not make my list. Reggie Miller, 18.2 points, 5 All-Stars, 3 All-NBAs. Did not make my list.
All right, so it's not that bad, but like I said, I didn't see on the references that I got, did not see any of those players on that list. So I'm hoping what I saw was pretty accurate, but like I said, didn't see those guys.
Okay.
I only have 4 honorable mentions.
Okay.
I cut it down to 4, and I put Dan Marley.
Yep, Dan Marley.
Dan Marley made my list. Let me see. 11.4 points, 4.5, 2.9, are his numbers. But 3 All-Stars and 2 All-Defensive. That, to me, was big, and it gave a guy that comes off the bench, really. I mean, he was not a starter.
Thunder Dan. You used to love him back with Phoenix.
I did. I liked Dan Marley, and I was like, you know what? I like him as a player. I thought he did his job better than most when it comes to like the 6th man, and I put him on my list. Also, I have Reggie Miller.
Okay.
Did not make my top 5.
Agreed.
I've always loved Reggie Miller as a player. 18.2 points. Fantastic. 39.5 at the 3-point mark. Which is actually really good. And 5 All-Stars, 3 All-NBA. Did not make my list. I also had Peja Stojakovic. I think he was a hell of a player. Those numbers were surprising to me. Very surprising. I knew he was a good player, but we don't get to see him play as often because of being, But 40.1 at the 3-point range. Oh my, that's pretty.
Wait,
that's
you did it by percentage? It sounds like.
Oh, maybe.
That's what it sounds like.
I don't know. I just went by the list. It didn't really say which stat.
So I did it by who made the most.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to probably be similar lists anyway.
Okay. All right.
But Peja was there, 3 All-Stars. He has a championship.
Yep. With Dallas, though.
Yeah.
He was a backup with
Yeah,
Dallas.
but he's
Yeah.
got one.
Yeah.
Also, I have James Harden as a honorable mention.
Yeah. He made my list. He
didn't make my list.
And it's just I couldn't refute the numbers.
Guy can't win.
All right. So, Ron, we are on to our starting 5. So at number 5, I had a guy not known for 3-pointers, but did make the most 3-pointers in a season. That was Gary Payton. 16.3 points, 3.9 rebounds, 6.7 assists. A 9-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, 9-time All-Defensive. Was also a steals leader, a 1-time Defensive Player of the Year as well. And he did win a championship back in later days, I think, in Miami. So Gary Payton at number 5 for me.
All right. Well, I had Klay Thompson. I had Klay at number 5 because I thought his numbers, outside of James Harden, and this is the battle for me, right? It was whether or not I was going to put James Harden in or Klay Thompson in. And I went with Klay Thompson mostly because his 3-point percentage was more. Klay's was 41.3, which is fantastic. Those 19.6 points per game, it is lower than Harden. But I thought it was enough to put him in with those 4 championships. He also had 5 All-Stars, and I like that all-defensive. And to 2 All-NBAs. Not bad for a guy that is just known for shooting. Not bad.
9 all-defense for Gary Payton, by the way. Okay. 9.
I know.
The glove, baby. The glove. All right.
Love the glove.
At number 4, I had James Harden. I can't listen. 24.4 points, 5.6 rebounds, 7.1 assists. He's a 10-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, 2-time assist champ, 3-time steals, a 1-time MVP, 1-time sixth man, 3-time scoring. I get no title, but I
and I'm not putting him in any top 5 until he gets one.
Those numbers are too good not to consider him.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's hard to ignore the numbers, but I'll still take Klay. I'll take Klay.
All right. So who do you got at 4?
Number 4, I have Ray Allen, man. I put him in that list. I love his points, 18.9 points per game, 4 boards, 3.5 assists, 40% from the 3-point range. Let me see. He's got 10 All-Stars, 2 championships, 2 All-NBAs, and he's 4th because the other 3 guys that are ahead of him just have more accolades than Ray Allen. And I love the player, and he brings so much to the game, but he didn't have all the other stuff that the 3 guys ahead of him have.
Yeah. So at 3, I went Ray Allen, and I went Ray Allen because of the 2 championships. I put him ahead of Harden. So I gave him that knock, Harden, but I still went Ray Allen, and you said all the numbers. But again, in the 2 championships split between Boston and Miami.
And the leadership, that's a skill. That's a skill. And it wasn't just KG that came into town and got that because, along with it came Ray Allen, and that was so important.
Absolutely.
It was so important because you had 2 guys now chirping in your ears on that bench, and what they brought to the table was absolutely incredible.
No, agreed. Who do you have at 3?
Number 3, I had Gary Payton. And I put him ahead of, and it was tough because I was looking Ray Allen, Gary Payton. And I love Ray Allen as a player, but Gary Payton, 9 All-Stars, 9 All-NBA, 9 All-Defensive. That All-Defensive, I have that number circled because out of all the guys on my list, that was the best.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it was absolutely insane. This guy, 16.3 points as a point guard, and then chips in with the 6.7 assists as well as 3.9 boards. I mean, what you got from this guy was just nothing short of an all-star. Every year all-star.
Yeah, no, great pick at 3. I went at number 2. This is going to controversial maybe. Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Went Steph Curry at 2, 24.8 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, 6.4 assists, 10-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, 2-time MVP, 2-time scoring, 1 steals in 4 championships. Steph Curry, obviously, now you think about shooting in the NBA, he is the 3-point. He created. It's not even. They shoot him from half court now because of Steph Curry, but he is obviously one of the greatest shooters to ever do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I have him at number 2 as well, Eric. Those 24.8 points per game is the best on the list. For who I have on my list. But there was still some numbers there that left off the table as opposed to number 1. And that is like boards. You have 4.3 boards for him. That's great. But another guy has 10.
Yep.
5.1 assists is pretty good, right? But there's another guy that also has 6.3.
Yeah.
And the point difference is only a half a point.
Yeah.
And then you look, then you see the 10 All-Stars as opposed to the 12. You have the 4 championships as opposed to 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the 9 All-NBAs as opposed to the 10. So the 1 Rookie of the Year that this other gentleman has, the gentleman has 3 All-Defensive.
I'm a little disappointed in Kenny right now.
Yeah, why?
He just quoted Stephen A. Smith. That's what you're gonna do right now. Yes, the greatest shooter that God has ever created is number 2, and we'll tell you why in a minute. Because the number 1 guy had some better numbers.
Yeah. You want to talk about those 3 MVPs, or do you want to talk about the 2 final MVPs? So go ahead, Eric. Give him what number 1 is.
At number 1, Mr. Larry Bird. I mean, again, you said the numbers, but he averaged a double-double in his career.
Yeah.
With the 24.3 points, 10 rebounds. Also had 6.3 assists. 2 more All-Stars than Steph. 1 more All-NBA. 1 more MVP. A 3-time All-Defensive. Plus Rookie of the Year. Yes, 1 less championship. Other than the championship, realistically, Larry Bird beat him in most statistical categories. And again, you think about what the 3-pointers mean today to back when Larry played. If Larry was playing today, those numbers would be ridiculous.
So he's doubling back.
Because yes, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter we've seen, and he is by far. But again, the game has changed. Larry Bird in today's NBA would be an absolute nightmare.
Oh my God!
For opposing players, it would be ridiculous.
Yeah, and you can't even touch him. Think about that. Like when you were playing back in the 80s, it was hell to get to that net. You had to go through a gauntlet, and everybody wanted a piece of it, right? You'd go down there, you'd get clotheslined by like 3 players. So, I mean, it's not the same. Now, Larry Bird would just torch players. Oh my God,
it'd be ridiculous. That's sometimes where you get a little jealous because you don't get to see it. Because I'd love to see Larry in today's NBA.
Oh,
just because of the fact that he could shoot better than anybody else back then. Imagine what he would do today.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And he had like ice in his veins. It didn't matter what the situation was. He'd make the shot.
Oh, I loved it.
He'd make the shot.
So, Kenny, I'm glad. See, you got to stick around for the whole thing, Kenny. You got to.
Yeah, you can't just assume.